I am five-time world karate kickboxing champion Anthony Elmore. This video is titled The Bone Doctor, Alvin Crawford and the Community of Orange Mound. Orange Mound was very unique compared to other communities in America. See, I want you to look at a copy of a 1940 census record of a young man by the name of Alvin Harold Crawford. Now, the record says he was from 7 to 12 months, born in 1939, and he lived on Marshall Neal with his mother, whose name was Irma Crawford. She was 25 years old, and he had a sister, Gwendolyn Crawford. She was 5, and he had a brother, Robert Shepherd Crawford, at 4 years old. This means we had a single mom living in Orange Mound who was born in 1915. Now, let me show you a picture of young Alvin Harold Crawford at 6 years old. This means that he had a numero school to go to. There was even a daycare in the community. This means that young Alvin Harold Crawford graduated from, and I'm thinking about 1956 from Melrose, because he was listed to have graduated from Tennessee State University around 1960. Now, white supremacy, racism, and black-on-black racism tell the story of Alvin Harold Crawford. If you let them tell the story, you'll miss the story. Now, listen to a black man tell the story. It tells you this Melrose student made not only black Memphis history, this Melrose student went on to make world history, and that he became a world-renowned orthopedic spinal surgeon. And his name, or he's better known today as Dr. Alvin H. Crawford, who grew up in Orange Mound. Now, what is even significant is that the time he grew up and the people he grew up with, like Dr. David A.C. was walking the halls of Orange Mound. There was Harper Brewer, who walked the halls of Orange Mound. You had all these special people that grew up in Orange Mound at the time. So let's listen to Dr. Alvin H. Crawford.
The beat and the syncopation. There are a lot of surgeons I found out who are musicians. Yes, I lived in a community in Memphis called Orange Mound, which was a ghetto, but a ghetto had a different term then. I rode the back of the bus when I went into town, but it was sort of secular that I didn't really have to go into town for a lot of things. It was just a different environment. And I was relegated to second class, and that was something that happened. And so I guess I didn't know any better. I didn't know how bad off I was. And maybe music gives it to you that I can sort of go with it. You know, you can't hurt me, because it's amazing. And I think young kids should know the only thing that's free in life that no one can touch is your education.
I have a unique background in that I'm from Orange Mound, which is a community in Memphis, Tennessee. It was the first planned settlement of African Americans post-slavery. And that I grew up with single family homes in the neighborhood, no projects, and so forth and so on. And so Orange Mound was a very unique community. Having said that, as some, not most unions maybe don't last, my mother and father separated and divorced early, but they continue to be an influence. I was pretty much raised as a single parent family by my mother. And the two are unique in that my mother was very much into us being the best that we could be. As a matter of fact, I come along at a time where there was some stimulation to do your best at all times. And I experienced it. And my mother ended up as a nurse. And she had 3 children that she was extremely proud of. My sister is an opera singer. She's been in Carnegie Hall 3 times. My brother was an amazing football player and athlete. And so that was the family as we knew it. My father was a Pullman porter, and as a matter of fact, he was with the Brotherhood of Pullman car porters, and that was A. Philip Randolph, which was the first African-American union in the United States. So those were my backgrounds. But growing up in Orange Mound, we had pretty much everything. There was grocery stores, physicians particularly were there, and it was a unique situation, but I was shielded from a lot of things, and it was rigidly segregated. But Orange Mound was a very pleasant place to be, and you can read things about it. As far as education was concerned, my mother made it that if we were alive, we would be educated and college educated, and she would look into one part of it. We had to look into the other.
Yeah.
And it ended up that my brother and my sister went to college before I did, and graduated college, and my mother and father didn't. It ended up as a blended family. I have younger siblings, but we were pretty much gone at the time that they were around, so I don't have a lot of follow-up with them. As far as Black doctors are concerned, it was in a day where I was literally treated, better still, my birth was at home, courtesy of one of the OBGYN residents, the hospital there. But there were Black doctors in the community, and we were able to have their facilities available as well as dentists. So no, I came up in that atmosphere and was very comfortable with that. So I had exposure to African American professionals early in my life.
High school and through college, I made my living playing and had planned to continue that. I played at a club, and my brother was there. He said, "Boy, you're really playing well." He said, "You won't have any trouble getting a job. There are band directors that are retiring," but I didn't really want to be a band director. He said, "Well, what else have you thought of?" I said, "Really, I hadn't thought of anything." He said, "Well, why not medicine?" I went to Meharry Medical College, which was predominantly African American, and the fees were pretty high. And during that time, the University of Tennessee specifically was segregated, and they were being protested by the NAACP as to why that there were no blacks. And it was, of course, the obvious reason that no blacks qualified. The university said, well, there is a black that's qualified, but he's in medical school now. And we looked at the difference in the private medical school and the state medical school. It was an easy decision. And as a result of that, I left Meharry and entered the University of Tennessee College of Medicine as the first African American.
Spine surgery in children was in its real infancy in the 1960s and 70s. The procedures were enormous. Dr. Crawford was innovative in taking extremely complex, highly technical surgery and changing it into a system where it could be done with scopes, with much, much less trauma to the patient, with much faster recovery. And he was instrumental in the development of that in the entire world.
The OR, for me, it's an arena, and there are stories about the Crawford OR.
He had a wonderful knack for asking the pertinent question and getting the correct answer. If he couldn't get the correct answer, he would often send the person out of the operating room to go and find out what the correct answer was.
I've been very, very fortunate in my career at Children's One to have an endowed chair in pediatric orthopedics and an endowed chair in spine surgery. But then the spine center to be dedicated to me was just sort of the icing on the cake. I never expected that. I would like it to be the best spine center on the universe.
Dr. Crawford, what do you think?
I'm just flabbergasted.
Huh?
I'm just flabbergasted and happy to see you.
Okay.
Just very happy to see you.
Okay. Well, we're going to show everybody in Orange Mound. And like I told you, I want to capture you seeing Dr. Crawford. I want to catch it on video.
Oh, you ready? Yes. I bought it early.
I am here with the great and the famous Dr. Alvin Crawford. I'm with Mrs. Mary Mitchell, and we are representing the Mound, Orange Mound. So now, what you got to say, Doctor? Tell us about Orange Mound and how it is to be here, and tell us how you know Miss Mitchell. And can you tell us some good stuff? Tell me something juicy.
There's too many years involved in this.
Tell me something juicy.
No, the life is good. Happy to be here, happy to have you all here, and hopefully you'll enjoy the book, because as you're reading it, realize that you have my life in your hands.
Yeah, so what you got to say, Miss Mitchell? Now, Miss Mitchell, you were so happy to see Dr. Crawford. I want you to look at the camera and tell how happy you are to see him.
I grew up next door to this very famous but very modest, brilliant genius. I was in and out of their house all the time. Miss Irma, his mother, didn't take my stuff. I loved their jello. Bobby, his oldest sister, who sang with Nat King Cole, one of the greatest singers, she was in charge of all of us. We had to man Bobby too when Miss Irma wasn't there. And his brother Robert and I were contemporaries. And I will start crying because the memories are so great. and he would come down after we moved some blocks away. Dr. Crawford would come to my sisters. They were the same age. Me and his older brother the same age. And he would be very amenable and polite. Although that's his birthday for us.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Okay. And give her my regards.
She passed.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. All right.
It's
Yes.
We appreciate it. Now, Miss Mary, look at the camera. Look at the camera. We got it. We're going to share this. Thank you all so much.